Hi guys, and welcome to the assessment. The assessment is a great tool for helping you figure out where you have imbalances in your body or dysfunction in your body, especially if you tend to have a nagging injury or pain somewhere. This is a great tool for figuring out how you can fix that. It's also a good tool for figuring out how you can get more out of your workouts and where you can improve. So let's go ahead and get started. The first exercise is just breathing. We're going to stand and breathe. And I want you to notice as you're breathing, what part of your body is it that is moving? So taking nice deep breaths here. And you're going to write that down on the sheet or on a piece of paper, whatever you have available. And also I want you to notice how easy or difficult it is to just breathe. 1 is like angels are breathing for you, and 10 is like an elephant is sitting on your chest. So go ahead and write that down. And next up, we have breathing again, but this time we're going to lie down. So same thing here, you're breathing, and I just want you to notice where in your body is moving. What part of your body is moving when you're breathing? And make sure you're taking nice deep inhales and exhales. So go ahead and write that down once you've figured out what part of your body is moving. And same question, I'm going to keep asking these questions over and over again, so just get used to them. How easy or difficult is it to breathe when you're lying down? 1, angels are breathing for me. 10, an elephant sitting on my chest. All right, next up we have a squat. So you can stand up again. And I want you to do a squat several times, whatever that means for you. And same question, except for this time, instead of what part of your body is moving, I want you to think, where do I feel the exercise? Or if I were to keep squatting over and over again, what part of my body would get tired first? Okay, and once you figure that out, write it down. How difficult is this exercise on a scale from 1 to 10? All right, good. So that was our squat. Let's do a lunge next. So when you're doing your lunge, stepping back, sinking hips down. And notice again, where do you feel the exercise? What muscle would get tired first if you kept doing this exercise for a really long time? That's just another way of asking the same question. And on a scale of 1 to 10, how easy or difficult is this exercise? 1 is easy, 10 is hard. Go ahead and write that down. All right, awesome. Next up, we have a pull. So if you have small weights, you can use them. Otherwise, just use your body weight. And I want you to think here, if you were to keep doing this exercise over and over again, what muscle would get tired, or what muscle are you feeling the movement in the most? And on a scale of 1 to 10, how hard is this exercise? 1 is easy, 10 is difficult. Go ahead and write your answers down for your pull. All right, next up, we have a push. So we're going to do a simple push-up for this, a kneeling push-up. I want you to come down on your knees. Obviously, if you need to, you can support your knees with something like a blanket or a towel. And you're just going to take your push-up. And as you're doing your push-up, thinking again, if I were to keep doing this over and over again, where would I feel the work? What would get tired? And where am I feeling the work? And on a scale of 1 to 10, how easy or difficult is this exercise? Okay, go ahead and write your answers down. Awesome. Next up, we are going to do a hip hinge. So standing up again, just bending over as if you were going to touch your toes and standing back up. Bending over Hands standing back up. And if you were to keep doing this exercise over and over again, where would you feel it? What would get tired first? All right, and on a scale of 1 to 10, how easy or hard is this exercise? All right, great. Write your answers down. Our last exercise here is going to be a twist. So I like to take my hands behind my head, just look over one shoulder and then the other. Okay, and again, if you were to keep doing this exercise over and over again, what would get tired first? Or where do you feel the exercise right now when you're doing it? Sometimes it can be a little difficult because they're just body weight exercises to actually feel the work in a muscle. But I want you to think about what would get tired if you kept doing it over and over again. And on a scale of 1 to 10, how easy or hard is this exercise? And write it down. All right, great job. Super simple assessment, right? Let me explain to you a little bit about why we did the assessment. So, first of all, what we tested were the 6 primal movements plus breathing. So if you think about all the movements we're doing in our daily life, we pretty much covered most of them. We did our squat, a lunge, a pull, a push, a twist, and a hinge at the hips. Those 6 primal movements make up most of what we do in our daily life. So that's why we tested those movements. Now we're going to take those movements and our results and evaluate them. So come on back and I will share that evaluation with you. All right, let's evaluate the results that you got from your assessment. So the first exercise we did was breathing. And I asked you to write down where you felt the breathing or what you felt moving when you were breathing. And we did 2 different versions of breathing, one standing up and one lying down. So I just want you to notice, did you feel the breath in the same part of your body when you were standing versus when you were lying down? If your body was working correctly, you should have felt it in the same place, and that's your belly. When you belly breathe, what you're actually activating is your diaphragm. Your diaphragm is not only your main breathing muscle, it's also the top part of your core. So just by breathing correctly, we're actually strengthening our core. And I'm going to show you how to breathe correctly and activate your core correctly in exercises in a separate video. So the answer to where you should have felt your breathing is belly or diaphragm. So go ahead and write that down. Just compare it to the answer that you got. And notice again, was it easy or was it hard? All right, the next exercise we did was a squat. Where did you feel the squat? Do you know where you should have felt it? Your glutes. Your glutes are the biggest muscle in your body, and they're also designed to be the primary lower body mover. So we want our glutes to do most of our big lower body movements. They should be the main muscle that's activating. Notice, did you say glutes or did you say quads? When quads are overactive, what tends to happen is knee issues. So we want to make sure that we're strengthening our glutes. Weak glutes also correlates with lower back problems. So our glutes are really important for supporting our body, our knees and our back. All right, next up, we did a lunge, right? Where do you think you were supposed to feel the lunge? That's right, glutes again. Our glutes are a primary lower body mover. A lunge is another big lower body movement. So we want the glutes to be the main muscle that's working when we do a lunge. So just notice, what did you say? And did you say glutes? All right, our next exercise that we did was a pull. Notice where you said you felt your pull movement. Where do you think you should have felt it? You should have felt your upper back muscles working. So a lot of times when our back muscles aren't functioning correctly, our neck takes over. And that's when many people end up with neck issues, strains, pains, in the upper body, sometimes rotator cuff issues. Our back, just kind of like our glutes, is a big muscle. And when I say back, when I'm really talking about our rhomboids mainly, and our latissimus dorsi, which is a big muscle right below the armpits. Those are also really good posture muscles. So if you're somebody who tends to sit in front of a desk slumped forward, and you didn't feel the pull in your back, it's probably an indication that you need to strengthen your back muscles. All right, the next thing we did was a push or a push-up. Notice again, where did you feel the push-up? And where do you think you should have felt it? The push-up should have happened mostly from your chest. If you're sensing a theme here, it's that the big muscles are really designed to do most of the work. Our chest, our back, and our glutes. And it's when those muscles aren't firing correctly, smaller muscles take over, and they're not meant to do the work of bigger muscles, right? And so that's when we tend to get injured or dysfunction happens in our body. So notice, did you say chest as the main muscle when you're doing a push-up? Now, I will say that in addition to chest, other muscles are working. Your shoulders are working, your triceps are working, to some extent your biceps are also working. But the main one that should be working is chest. All right, next up we had our hip hinge. Where did you feel the hip hinge mostly? Where do you think you should have felt the hip hinge mostly? That's right, it's the glutes again. It's a big lower body movement. We're hinging at the hips. The glutes power the movement of the hips. So notice, did you feel it in your glutes or did you feel it somewhere like your lower back? If you felt it in lower back or somewhere other than glutes, it's probably a good indication that you should focus on strengthening your glutes and activating your glutes in your exercises. All right, our last movement was our twist. Remember this guy? Where did you feel the twist mostly? And where do you think you should have felt it mostly? In a twist, if our hips are moving and our waist are moving, now I didn't give you specific directions here to move your hips as well as your waist, but in a full body twist, we want to feel glutes and obliques. So if you didn't feel either of those muscles or both of those muscles, that could be a key indication that those are two of the areas that you should work on. All right, we're at the end of the assessment, so I want you to go over your results. Compare, where did you feel the exercise versus where should you have felt it, and how easy was each exercise for you? And those two components together should give you a good idea of what you need to work on. Most people, I'll tell you, probably do need to work on all of these areas: glutes, back, chest, obliques, and especially the core breathing. And I will show you exactly how to get the core breathing down to help you activate your core correctly. And that, in and of itself, a lot of times solves most of the other issues. So, watch the core breathing video after you've done this and focus on incorporating more mind-muscle connection for the areas that you've noticed that you need to work on in your workouts. If you got a perfect score, that's fantastic. You are just doing great. Keep up the good work. Thanks for joining me for the assessment, and make sure you watch the next video about core breathing and how to engage your core correctly.